Alright guys, welcome to another game of the Intel Extreme Masters. Shanghai, America's qualifiers. We just finished our second best of three. We are jumping straight up into another best of three, guys. We have in the bottom left position of Derilict Watcher, representing Team Evil Geniuses, we have the green Protoss. Give it up for E.G. HuK. And his opponent in the upper right position, representing Gamefront, which is of course a personal sponsorship of this guy, playing the pink Protoss. Give it up for State. Alright, I want some predictions in chat, guys. Talk to me. There's 100 people, maybe 130, something like that, currently watching the stream. Tell your friends about this. Tell your animals, your pets, your dogs, your cats, your parents. Well, if your parents like StarCraft, of course, you can tell them to watch this, because this is a big tournament here. I mean, the winners of this qualifier, the first two people, the first and second place, get flown out to China. They don't have to pay anything. They don't have to pay the flight or the hotel. Maybe they'll buy their own food. Maybe they'll just starve and not eat anything. With the winnings, of course, from the Shanghai tournament, then they can decide to buy food. Of course, that's all onto them. But they don't have to pay to actually, fly there and have a place to stay at. Now, State, one of the better North American Protoss players, going up against HuK, a veteran in the scene, good amount of experience, actually tremendous amount of experience in Heart of the Swarm, as well as Wings of Liberty, player that participated in the GSL, a player that played in just a lot of tournaments. I mean, talk about HuK. He played in the WCS Premier League. He's reached the round of 32. He had a great run at the MLG Spring Championships, and don't forget that he made it to the round of 16 of the DreamHack Stockholm Open. So a player definitely with quite a few accomplishments, and PvP is of course one of his better matchups. Now this guy in the upper right, Mr. Ryan Visbeck, player from the Americas, 20 years old. A few accomplishments from him is he did in fact, I believe he reached the round of 32 of the Premier League, but unfortunately was knocked out later on. If you guys are a fan of Total Biscuit in the StarCraft America tournament, he actually took second place in the recent StarCraft America, which was the first one, losing to Kane with a score of 4-1. So State is definitely a player with a good amount of experience as well. He's kind of a player that is really starting to show up a lot more to these offline events, and is really trying to make a name for himself in the StarCraft 2 scene. So definitely going to be a nice little PvP going on here. HuK, of course, known for his quote-unquote top 3 control. State, of course, a player that is also very focused on his micro, but build orders, man oh man, we're seeing a very quick expansion coming up here from State, and HuK's going to take a quick expansion as well. So both players, I feel, have played against each other quite a bit amount of times, that they know the possibilities that they can have in this PvP matchup. Now, the only variance here is State's playing very defensive with this. He's getting these sentries, doesn't want to have any units run up his ramp. HuK, meanwhile, getting a Stargate. So he's looking like he might commit to some Phoenix play, might even commit to, quick Oracle for some sort of economic harassment. HuK's just going to start to poke away at this Nexus. Nice little hallucinated scout here by State. Did HuK actually see that? HuK actually just doesn't really scout it too much. So this is going to be a very crucial scout here from State, because he's going to be able to see if HuK's expanding, or if he's playing like a one-base blink play. What tech is HuK going for? What are the possible options that he can do based upon this early Phoenix scout? And meanwhile, HuK getting a scout of his own, poking in the main base with that mothership core. Will be able to spot the gas. Sees a few gateways. Does not see the robotics facility. And now State, on the other hand, actually getting a very good scout. He sees basically everything. He sees the gateways, he sees the Stargate, he sees the Phoenix play. And you know what? With this build order from HuK, robotics facility is going to be useless at this point. I mean, I don't think, if HuK commits a lot into this Phoenix play, Immortals are not really going to be able to do too much. And Colossi definitely not going to be great against Phoenix. Just don't even make them against Phoenix. But HuK also might transition into Void Rays. He's going to go ahead and go up to a third Phoenix. Natural expansion has completed for both sides. We're seeing both players very even in supply, 52 apiece. Actually, they're both a little bit supply blocked. HuK, of course, trying to focus down that Mothership Core. Kind of like the bigger Sentry, because it gathers a lot of energy. You're able to use quite a handful of abilities, including the Time Warp and the Recall ability, which is very, very important in this matchup. Okay, so I'm a little bit worried here for State. And the reason why I'm worried is he's invested into this robotics facility. And against this Phoenix play from HuK, he's going to have to transition. And he's going to go into a Twilight Council. So this has me thinking State is maybe going to go into Blink, maybe going to go into Charged Loud Archon. But State's a player that's been known for Blink. Phoenix is coming into the main base, so we'll be able to pick off one of these probes. 2 workers have been killed so far from HuK. Back home, we're seeing a robotics facility for HuK as well as the Forge. So we're going to be seeing quite similar times when it comes to these upgrades. Hold that thought, though. We're seeing double Forge being started here for HuK. So a lot of upgrades. You know, that's going to be a big, big focus in this game for HuK. All right, so great choice by State. I actually like this quite a bit, that he's going into Blink. He realizes HuK's making Phoenix. If he can get enough Blink Stalkers and get the upgrades and maybe try to go hit, you know, a very solid timing, there's a small possibility he might be able to break HuK. But based on HuK's scouting, he realizes that, okay, there's a possibility, actually there's a big, big possibility upon what I saw the Twilight Council. You're going to be committing quite a bit into Blink Stalkers. He's going to make a robotics facility. He's going to have the Immortals, of course, which are going to counter the Stalkers. And then State might be in a little bit of trouble, but Phoenix is swinging around again into the natural base, trying to pick off some probes. Not really going to pick off too much. Robotics Bay coming up from HuK. A lot of tech here for HuK. Robotics facilities, Stargate, Phoenix, Colossi, Twilight Council. Of course, that Twilight Council isn't really necessarily going to be for Blink. He just wants to get started on his 2-2, you know, as soon as that 1-1 finishes. State's now going to poke a little bit. Blink not done just yet. These Phoenix in the middle of the map. HuK almost going to lose 1 Phoenix here. How many Stalkers does State have right now on the map? 9 Stalkers to 6 Stalkers. 2 Phoenix from HuK, so he's done with these Phoenix. He's going to go into Immortal production, of course, to be able to deal with these Blink Stalkers. But State going into a Dark Shrine. Okay, this is actually quite cool from State. He's showing us kind of a nice, you know, possible little build order where he transitions into Charged Loud Archon. He was making a War Prism in the production tab. Of course, I think he might have canceled it, so not a lot of harassment going to be done here, as he knows there's Phoenix on the map. A little bit of poking here being done by State. Not enough units to really be able to kill what HuK currently has. Both players actually very close in supply. 98 supply to 94. Blinking onto the high ground. HuK needs to react to this as soon as possible. 1 Immortal is going to be in position. Of course, 2 Immortals in this many sentries, just like this is enough to be able to draw back this attack here from State. But nice little pressure here by Mr. Ryan Visbeck. He's able to control the map behind this, buying himself enough time to transition into Colossi, going into this Dark Templar, which I'm assuming is going to be for quick DTs, but if they don't do damage, he's probably going to try to transition into some sort of Archon play. So that's the eventual composition we're looking at here from State, is just Colossi and Archons. HuK's doing a very similar play, but he's just going to have more gateway units, Blink, and Colossi, and he has an upgrade advantage. 1-1's already completed. As you see for State, if I like to grab one of his Stalkers, +1 weapons is the only thing completed. And in PvP, you may not think upgrades are a big thing, but they actually are. If you're going for very similar compositions, if you have a, you know, slide edge and advantage and upgrades, he's actually going to pick up the Mothership Core. There's a there's a Photon Overcharge right on top of the Nexus. 1 Stalker goes down. Great blink away, though, by State. And is he going to get trapped? Then HuK actually, his army composition just seems to be so much more superior right now compared to State. You know, it's cool to be fancy with these Blink Stalkers. Actually, DT's hacking away at the natural base. Workers lost. 18 workers have been killed for State. 110 supply to 84. Actually, that did quite a bit of damage. As you see probes also being evacuated from the main base. HuK has no observer. Oh my god, he's just now going to get the observer to be able to clean up these DTs. Wow. That actually did a lot of damage. 21 probes killed. State already has a 3rd base. HuK just now going to take that 3rd expansion. Still ahead in upgrades, which is great. But that is just a big economic damage being done here by State, and he's still controlling the map with the Stalkers. Going to blink away, just getting a little bit of scouting, figuring out his opponent's unit composition, sees Immortals, sees Colossi, sees Archons, spots the 1-1, sees the 2-2, trying to focus down the pylon, might even try to focus on the Forge to delay that 2-2 from finishing for HuK. But State is going to blink away. Smart choice once again by the American Protoss player. Just an absolutely just a great play that we're seeing displayed here from State. He has a quicker third. He has more probes, 66 probes to 46. The longer this goes, HuK's going to really need to focus on chrono boosting out these probes, because State is just looking like he's going to have a superior army composition going into Templar. So this army is like, this is what you see a lot in PvPs. You see one person going Colossi, and then you see the other person going for that late game army, which is Charge Lot, Archon, Immortals, and eventually Tempest, which are fantastic against Colossi. And as long as State can just keep HuK on his side of the map, he should be in a good position. He has a good supply advantage. HuK has been focusing a little bit more on making these probes up to 52 now compared to 69. 2-2 completed for HuK. Quicker Templar Archive transition here from State. Nice little hallucinated scouts again here being done by the Protoss, just to figure out what's going on. State, of course, does not want to overextend once again. Sees some Zealots being warped in. Just going to blink away as if nothing ever happened. But now we're seeing this army of HuK getting ridiculously dangerous. 176 supply to 128. Another scout here being done by State. He just wants to make sure that there's no major tech transitioning here happening from HuK. And now we're going to see State move towards the center of the map. 178 to 140 supply. I want to look at these units, guys. This is going to be very important for both sides. 3 Colossi, 4 Colossi, 6 Stalkers, 8 Stalkers, and of course State does have that Mothership Core, so HuK did not remake that Mothership Core at all. And if State can get a good position with this army, he should, I mean, based on supply count, you would think he's going to take the engagement, but HuK has 2-2, and he has more Colossi, and he has these Immortals, but charge is done for State, and here comes the engagement. State's going to blink forward, trying to focus on the Stalkers and the Colossi, but State has so many more units. 98 supply to 156. Archons are absolutely tearing through the Immortals and through the Colossi, and State still has some Stalkers left. Might even want to blink forward. Not even going to matter. GG.